Hello, and welcome to Academy Live. I'm James Mays, Learning Program Manager for Volvo Mack Trucks Academy, here with you today in support of the Technical Services Department. Today's Academy Live will focus on timing gear plate repair procedures, and we have a ton of valuable information to share with you today. Let's go ahead and introduce our first speaker, Mr. Rad Torres. Rad, can you provide us with an overview, a little bit of background related to today's Academy Live?
Of course. Thank you, James. And thank you all for joining today's broadcast. I've been a member of the warranty department for a number of years now. During my tenure here, I've been fortunate enough to visit all of our dealerships out there. This consists of dealers who are high volume locations all the way down to low volume locations. I've been fortunate enough to spend a lot of times with the technicians out there, and fortunately I made it out alive. Technicians and warranty guys, we're just like this. I believe that the technicians are pretty much the heart and soul of the dealerships, and that is why I make it a point to always make sure that I spend a lot of time with technicians when I'm out there on one of these dealer visits. One of those common topics that has come up in those visits has been timing gear plates. And in regards to timing gear plates, there have been some topics that have shown up that we want to make sure that we touch on today. Starting at the top of the list, some of those topics is, why are these timing gear plates failing, and how can we prevent them from failing? Bill Meacock from our base engine technology group, he is going to be sharing some good information with us today and sharing some of his great knowledge. Moving on down the list, when we have one of these repairs in the shop, somebody hands me a repair order on Monday morning, I already feel overwhelmed because I know that it's a timing gear plate, and we all know how time-consuming those are. So we have a good guy right here. He is Andrew Beck, and he's going to share some of that good information with us that he has learned throughout the years. He has done this repair plenty of times, knows it like the back of his hand, so he's going to share some good knowledge with us. Moving down the list, the standard repair times has been kind of a favorite topic there. Service information and impact, and any special tools that we could use to kind of make this repair a lot more efficient than what it is today. Sean Marion is from the service engineering side, and he is going to help us out with some of those details and help us answer a lot of those questions that have been brought to my attention while on dealer visits. Last but not least, I will touch the topic on the warranty side. I know it is the easiest topic that we're going to cover today, and that is the reason why I'll be covering it. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. But before I kick it back to you, James, I'd like to ask everyone to make sure that you implement all of this great information that we're going to cover here today. Share it with your technicians, service managers, shop foremen, parts guys, service advisors, and last but not least, our customers. Make sure we are as transparent as possible, because the last thing that we want to do at the end of the repair have any kind of surprises. So with that, I'll pass it back to you, James, to get us started with today's topic. Thank you.
Thanks, Rad. Now, let's start by reviewing some of the causes of the timing gear plate oil leaks. Bill, what are some of the root causes you and your team have identified on your field research?
Sure, James. Absolutely. So what we've found during the last year is there's really three key factors that impact your timing gear plate seal life. First and foremost is your exceeding your oil drain intervals. When you exceed your oil drain intervals, that dramatically affects the timing gear plate seal life. Secondly is your customer duty cycle. Customers with high amounts of idle time it affects the timing gear plate seal. And then last but not least is the oil formulation that you're using. We found that certain formulations perform much better than others with the timing gear plate seal.
So, Bill, I know we have a recommended oil list. What should I do if I need to use an oil that's not on the list?
Well, James, if you're not able to source one of the oils on our list, that's not the end of the world. You're okay as long as you're using BDS 4.5 or BDS 5 approved oils, and you're adhering to our recommended oil drain intervals. So if we take a few minutes and review the service at a glance information to determine what's the correct oil drain interval for your application. Here we have the service at a glance document. So for example, if you're averaging greater than 6 miles per gallon, you would be in the normal duty category. However, if you are idling more than 30% of the time, that puts you down into the next category, or the heavy duty category. So in that category, if you're using a generic oil, that would mean you need to change your oil at 40,000 miles or 1,200 engine hours, whichever comes first. And it's very important that you pay attention to both your hours as well as your mileage. So moving into a more practical example, we'll look at this chart where we show different customer duty cycles and their relationship to engine hours and their duty cycle. So customer A, he's running 6 days a week, averaging 60 miles an hour with 17% idle time. A very typical highway customer. Well, that customer is okay to safely change his oil at 55,000 miles. However, if you look at customer B, same road cycle, 6 days a week, 60 mile an hour average speed, but substantially higher idle time, that customer needs to change their oil at 30,000 miles. So I hope this does a good job of helping to explain the importance of paying attention to idle time and its impact on your oil drain intervals.
Thanks, Bill. But why does engine idle time damage the timing gear plate seal?
So, James, normal engine operation produces acids in the oil. This is normal. This is historic. We've known this for years, and we fully understand it. That's why if you look at most engine oil analysis reports, it almost always includes your total acid number when viewing the report. So the different engine modes produce different acids, and the acids produced during engine idle are significantly different than the ones produced during positive power. And those acids, if left to build up over time, they will attack your seal and significantly degrade the seal's life.
Excellent. Thanks, Bill. Now that we've identified what's causing these leaks, how would a technician know if a leak is bad enough to justify a repair? Let's be honest, this is quite an extensive and time-consuming repair, not to mention the downtime for the customer. Drew, can you walk us through what this would look like?
Sure, James. So, as you said, yes, this is a very extensive repair. It's a huge downtime for our customers, and let's be honest, technicians don't like to do the repair. So with that, we visited dealers. We watched technicians do the repair. We've talked to technicians. We've talked to service managers. We've talked to shop foremans. And with that, also we had a pre-approval process, and we asked you guys to send in images. Well, we looked at hundreds of pictures that showed leaks, where the leaks formed, how bad were they, what kind of issues were you guys seeing with those? So with that, we all kind of got together, and one of the documents that we've published from that was a TSB. It's TSB 212-003, and it's for an inspection or repair of the timing gear plate. Within this document, we talk about the types of plates there are, the two types of leaks associated with it. We talk about the best ways to diagnose the leak. And then also we talk about our new containment solution for the seal conditioner, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Two different types of timing gear plates. Can you tell us a little bit about each of these, please?
Sure, James. So when we talk about timing gear plates, the first we'll start with is the wet plate. This was put into production with the 11-liter and the 13-liter from the start of production, and still currently used on the 11-liter platform today. It's a multi-use plate. It can be removed, the silicone scraped off, cleaned, new RTV installed, and put back on multiple times. The next we'll talk about is the integrated plate. This was put into production in 2018 with the launch of the TC engine, and then also with the VGT engine, it was introduced in 2019. This plate is also a multi-use plate, but if it has any signs of wear, any issues whatsoever, or if you have a leak, it must be replaced. I will mention that if you're doing a flywheel housing or a cylinder head replacement, if you check the plate out and the seal still protrudes out, it's not flat, there's no cuts or tears, then it can be reused. You can put the head back on, you can put the flywheel housing back up without replacing the timing gear plate.
Thanks, Drew. Okay, so we have two different types of leaks. Can you tell us what they are and the difference between the two?
Sure, James. So when we talk about leaks, we have a weep or a seep. Right? This is looked at as a dark stain, that collects dirt and dust. It's a normal occurrence between, two joints. There's no active leak. And, let's be honest, as extensive as this repair is, that's not worth repairing, and we don't consider it a warrantable repair. And the next we'll talk about is a true active leak. When you have an active leak, there's a huge wet spot. You have oil actively running down the block. It can be dripping on the ground. It can be standing off of components. This is considered an active leak, and we do consider that a warrantable repair.
What are the best practices for diagnosing a leak, Drew?
So, James, when we're diagnosing a leak, right, if it's going to be a warrantable repair, first and foremost, you need to take a good picture of the suspected area. And then we ask you to clean the engine thoroughly. Anywhere that there's oil or dirt suspected for the oil, you want to get all that area clean. You want to blow it dry. And then you want to get the oil up to operating temperature. And with this, you can do a road test, a regen, but it's crucial that you get the engine oil up to operating temperature. The reason is the oil thins out, the joints can expand, and it's easier to find a leak. Once an active leak is found, you need to document with good pictures and attach those to the warranty case after the repair.
Okay, Drew, I found a leak. I documented the leak with pictures, and now I'm ready to perform the repair. Are there any other important tips I should be aware of prior to performing this repair?
Absolutely. So, as we watched techs, as we visited dealers, we noticed that there were some things on our end we could change. And with that, we updated repair instructions and impact. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then also we have this new containment solution out there for the seal conditioner. And so we'll talk about that in a minute too. We wanted a way to kind of help everybody learn step by step how to do it. So we created an instructional video on replacing the timing gear plate. Timing gear plate repair, it's on the support.com website, and it's great step for step. Show a technician the best way to do this repair. So now that we've talked about the seal conditioner a little bit, Bill, why is it important that we replace or use this seal conditioner when replacing the timing gear plate?
Well, Drew, we've talked previously about the seal and it's susceptible to acid attack. And the reason for that is the seal material is porous. And those pores allow the acids to infiltrate into the seal, into the inner structure, and break down the inner structure bonds and obviously cause the seal to degrade. So the seal conditioner is really designed to do two things. First, it acts as a physical barrier. And then secondly, it actually will impregnate into the seal and occupy those internal spaces and cavities and prevent the acids from attacking the inner structure and thus destroying the seal.
That's great information, Bill. Thank you. So let's talk about a little bit on the installation process for this new seal conditioner. So we've tore our engine down. We have the gear train off. We have the timing gear plate off. We're getting ready to install our new plate. What we want to do is we want to put on protective gloves. We want to smear a thin layer of the seal conditioner up the block on the back of the head. And it's very important when you install it, you do not want to go below the lower dial. And then you also, on the head, the top bolt, you do not want to go above that. Put your timing gear plate on, torque your bolts, put your gears on. And then when you're getting ready to install the flywheel housing, you want to do the same thing, a thin layer of seal conditioner. And you want to do the same. Do not go below the lower dials. And then for the plate, you want to do not go just a little bit below the upper hole where the integrated seal is. The reason for this, we don't want to go below or above these points, is we don't want the seal conditioner to mash out into the T-joints. And that could cause where the RTV is in the T-joints for it, to not seat there or seal. So that's the reason for that. For further instructions on how to do this, we have the instructional video. We also have this TSB, and we also have a CBR for this as well. So now that we've discussed the different, solutions for installing this seal conditioner, Bill, let's ask some common questions that we see in the field. So, Bill, I've worked on integrated timing gear plates for a long time, and there for a while I was not able to get any plates, so we put silicone on them. Is this something you guys recommend?
No, Drew, absolutely not. You should not use silicone or RTV or any other form of sealant to try and repair the timing gear plate seal. If you have a compromised seal, you must replace the entire timing gear plate.
Thanks, Bill. So I've read some previous documents in the past that said I was able to repair with RTV if need be. Is that stuff null and void now?
Well, that's a good memory you have, Drew. Yes, you're correct. And early on, we did authorize the use of silicone to do very small localized repairs of the timing gear plate seal. However, we've quickly determined that that repair procedure is too risky and not a valid repair over time. So therefore, we backed off of that position. So again, if you have a timing gear plate seal that's damaged, you must replace the entire timing gear plate.
Thanks, Bill. So some shop talk, around different guys say that putting RTV on the integrated plate extends the life of the seal. Is this true?
Absolutely not. I can't stress the importance of not trying to repair the timing gear plate with, again, RTV, silicone, Flex Seal, whatever. Because what happens is when you try to use those products to repair the seal groove, you fill that groove, and then the first time the engine heats up, that groove overcompresses the seal material and completely destroys the inner structure of the seal. So even though you think you fixed the problem, because initially it most likely won't leak after you get the engine reassembled, the seal will break down really quick, and you will be repairing that again in short time. It won't last.
Thanks, Bill. So is there an alternative solution to the seal conditioner? Do I have to buy it from Volvo?
Yes. The seal conditioner, again, as we talked about before, the seal conditioner is designed to be a physical barrier, but more importantly, it's specifically designed to get into the seal material itself, into those pores and cavities, and stay with the life of the seal. And it's specifically engineered for that. So you do not want to substitute any other product other than our approved seal conditioner.
Thanks, Drew and Bill, for talking us through some of the containment solutions for the timing gear plate. Now, let's take a look at some of the improvements to the repair process. Sean, if a repair has to be made, are there any special tools required or recommended for the procedure?
Well, yes, James. In fact, we have actually introduced two new special tools that are now available out there. One of them being the Turbo Compound Support Tool. We have developed this tool, 888-00-826, to be able to help with the repair, streamline the repair, make it more efficient. In conjunction with that, we've also, which also I'm going to add, the dealer should have this, or if not, you will be getting it very soon. Also, we have the 888-00-820. The rear engine support tool. That tool should be out there in the next coming weeks, and you should be seeing them arrive at your dealer very soon. We've created supporting documentation within Trucks Dealer Portal under Academy Training Support video site, showing the installation and use of these tools and how to put them properly in there. Again, also, you can actually find the information in impact and related service repair instructions for the timing gear plate or flywheel housing.
Excellent. Thanks, Sean. So we have part numbers for the special tools. Are there any special part or parts kits available as well?
Well, yes, James. We've made a one-stop shop for all your parts needs. We went out above and beyond and actually created 2 spare parts kits to help support the repair and efficiency of the timing gear plate and or flywheel housing. One of the spare part kits for the 13-liter VGT engine is 2445-9407, and the spare parts kit for the turbo compound 13-liter is 2445-9389. These kits are available VOR. Once the inventory is up to capacity, you'll be able to order these via normal process. Also, they'll be priority shipped directly to you. In addition, as for the containment solution in these kits, we are including the seal conditioner as well.
Sean, above you had mentioned impact and repair instructions for the timing gear plate. Can you elaborate on any related updates?
Well, certainly. This has been a long-standing improvement and updates to our current service literature, as well as support to the dealers themselves to help improve the knowledge of the repair, the efficiency of the repair within the dealership, and to help the customers' uptime concerns. One of the major updates that we've done with the 13-liter platforms when doing this timing gear plate repair is we have eliminated the procedure for doing the overhead valve and adjust. So now you no longer have to remove the rocker arm shaft assembly or loosen the rocker arm nuts and for the injectors. Therefore, you don't have to do an overhead adjustment procedure when you're done with the repair. By doing so, that actually prompted the change for the service literature for how to set up the rear gear train on the back of the engine. On the Friday build trucks, we used to tell you to measure the backlash off of the cam gear with no rocker arm shaft assembly bolted on. Now we've actually changed that procedure to include that the dial indicator now be placed off of the idler gear after you've got the plate set up on the back of the engine and no other gears are on except the idler and the cam gear. You can actually position the dial indicator on the idler gear, lock down the cam gear, and it's being already locked down with the valve train still being adjusted. And then you can adjust your backlash for that. So that should greatly improve your service times, help you with the efficiency of the repair. And again, one other big addition that we've got here, again, I'm going to bring up the TC support tool. This support tool is a game changer for the service aftermarket. This tool is a simple L bracket support tool that will actually bolt to the side of the cylinder head on the 13-liter turbo compound engines. And what it'll allow you to do is they'll leave the entire hot side of the engine on the side, leave the entire hot side together. The only components you'll actually have to remove now are the starter itself, and the EGR hot pipe. By doing that, it saves all the time from having to worry about taking the turbo off, EGR cooler, and turbo compound out. So this bracket will actually help support you and do the job in a more efficient manner. Also, in conjunction with that, we've developed a rear engine support tool. Working with the dealers and the feedback and actually taking them to trial and letting guys try them out and use them, we have come up with this rear engine support tool, the 888-00820 tool. This will further increase the efficiency of the repair. It'll greatly help with ergonomics, everything around this. As Drew mentioned earlier, this is a very intensive repair, and these tools were developed to help complete the repair in a much more efficient manner.
Wow. Thanks for sharing, Sean. Drew, what about a job aid? Is there any way to help ensure that the technician stays on track during this procedure?
Sure, James. So like I talked about earlier, we went to dealers and we watched technicians work on these trucks and do these repairs. It's hard on a big job like this sometimes to stay on task and make sure you're where you need to be. So with this, we created a job aid. And in this job aid, we have images of the special tools needed, the part numbers with those. And then the second page of this breaks this repair down into 4 stages, right? And where should I be after 4 hours? Where should I be after 8-hour repair? So this is there for the technician to stay on track, for the service advisor, for the service manager, shop foreman, all those guys to kind of help the repair stay on task. And then also within this document, we list at the bottom the places you can go to get supportive information you need, right? So we have the TC support tool. We have the rear engine support tool. We have the timing gear plate repair videos. All those are listed on one side, and then on the other, we have the TSB. We have the impact operation where you can go to see the actual repair instructions. And then we have the CBR. The CBR for this timing gear repair is kind of the super highway for all the information. It has all the clicks out to the videos. It has links out to the repair operation. So everything you need is within the CBR, and it's one click away from getting you to the documents you need. So this job aid's kind of there to just help out.
Thanks, Drew. Now that we've thoroughly covered just about all of the topics related to today's Academy Live, let's close out the broadcast with a discussion about warranty. Rad, how does all of this tie into warranty claims?
Of course. Thank you, James. Before I dive into the warranty topic, I want to take a second and recognize the fact that we had a pre-authorization process that we ran for a number of months. And anytime that we make a decision to go with a pre-authorization process, it's not a decision that we take lightly. So we wanted to make sure that we take the time to thank you for making that pretty much a seamless transaction. Can't thank you enough for the support that we got there throughout the whole process. And a lot of information came out of that process, and it's what you see here today. So let's dive into the warranty topic. All of the items that I'm going to be covering are located in the Warranty Operations Manual, Section 6211. So if you don't catch what I'm going to cover here, make sure that you go to the warranty manual, familiarize yourself with the details that are in that section, and we'll be golden. Let's dive into the first topic, which is pictures on warranty claims. So as we mentioned before, we reviewed thousands of pictures throughout this pre-authorization process. And one thing that stood out was what we're looking for is for a truck that comes off of the road. The driver tells you, hey, I have a leak on the backside of the engine, and we are looking for that active oil drip. That is really what we're looking for. The most important picture on the warranty claim is the one that you see here, labeled as number 1. So we're looking for that active oil drip. Moving to the second one, we're looking for a suspected area. So where do you believe this leak is coming from? And number 3, after you get the engine cleaned up, let's see what that looks like. Let's see a clear picture of the active leak after it was cleaned out. We don't need to see 50 pictures on all of these claims. We just need to stick to 3 pictures right here, and these are the 3 pictures that we are looking for. We discontinued the pre-authorization process on March 6th. So far, the claims are looking good that are coming in. It seems like we are following those guidelines, but let's make sure that we do that refresher and stick to those guidelines. Next topic that I want to cover, flywheel housings. So under warranty, if we're going to replace the flywheel housing, it's going to be for basically 3 things. You either have 3 bolts broken off inside of the flywheel housing bolts, you have an out-of-round condition, or you have an uneven sealing surface on the flywheel housing. Those are basically the only 3 conditions where you should replace a flywheel housing under warranty. If you have 1 or 2 bolts broken off inside of the bolt holes, we have a CBR that we put together, the great team here. It is CBR 2248. Make sure that you review that document. It is very thorough, and it's going to help you out with the repair process on flywheel housings. Next topic that I want to cover is wet plates. Wet plates, as we mentioned, we have a little bit of a mixed crowd out there. Some of these trucks have wet plates, some of them have integrated seals. If you have a truck that has a timing gear plate leak, and we're going to do this repair on the warranty, and it's a wet plate, let's make sure that we're replacing that like for like. If you have a wet plate that came off, that's what we need to be installing back on the truck. Those are warranty guidelines. If it's a customer paid job, you could always upgrade to the integrated seal and get a flywheel housing. But under warranty, we are making these repairs like for like. Moving on down the list, timing gear plate kits. As was mentioned earlier, there was a lot of thought process that went behind building these kits. And what we have found is that we have a lot of cheat sheets out there. If you've done a timing gear plate in the past, you have particular part numbers that you might want to order. We thought about this repair and we put together a complete package for you. So make sure that we're using these timing gear plate leaks. Not only do we have all of the one-time use parts all in one package for you, so that way it's extremely easy. You don't need to look up 50 different part numbers. You only need one part number. But we also have that seal conditioner as part of that kit. So make sure we're using those. The next topic that I want to cover, and it's going to be my last one, it's comeback repairs. As we mentioned earlier, I love RTV just as much as the next guy, but we cannot use RTV, and that's something that we've been seeing on some of these materials that have been returned to TMAC on failure analysis. It's we're using RTV, and the trucks are coming back to the repair shops. So make sure that if you have a truck, you're using the seal conditioner, you're following the repair procedures that we have out there in Impact, and everything will be good to go. So comeback repairs, just want to give you a heads up. If there's a comeback repair, it's going to have our special attention on it. So those are the topics that I want to cover from the warranty side. Again, thank you guys for being here with us today. And I'll pass it back to you, James.
Thanks, Rad. Okay, we've covered a lot of information in a short amount of time. At this time, we'd like to open up the chat for questions. If you have a question related to today's Academy Live, please feel free to ask them at this time. Drew, while we're waiting for the questions to come in, can you provide us with some key takeaways from today's Academy Live?
Sure, James. I think first off, right, we need to educate our customers on their oil drain intervals. It's crucial that they change their oil, in the proper intervals. And then also all of this information that we've put out there for you guys to review. We have the CBR 2260 and 2263 for the timing gear plate repair. We have updated impact operation for replacing the timing gear plate. We have the TSB for inspection and repair. We also have the 3 instructional videos that we've published. We also have the 2 new special tools. We also have the parts kits available now for the VGT and the TC engines. And then also, it's crucial that you follow your warranty operation manual guidelines when you do this repair.
Hey, Rad, I got a question for you. What's the warranty coverage on a timing gear plate?
Currently, the warranty coverage on timing gear plates, those fall under major component coverage. Normally, that coverage is 5 years, 500,000 miles. Always recommend that you go to VinView to look up coverages. But since we're here amongst friends, the coverage on the timing gear plate currently, it's major component coverage. That's where we're covering these failures.
Thank you, sir. What's the window for a repair to be considered a comeback repair?
Comeback repairs, we're basically looking at a 2-month window. If the truck left your shop today and within 2 months it came back into the shop, it's going to have our special attention. Anything outside of that, we're not looking into. But if it's inside of that 2-month window, we are going to trigger those parts back to TMAC and make sure we do a failure analysis and make sure nothing was improperly done on the previous repair.
Thank you, sir. Drew, I have a question for you. Where is the 4-hour document listed?
So that can be found as a downloadable PDF to this live broadcast. And then also it lives inside of the CBR, the 2260 and 2263. It has images in the CBR and also is downloadable from there. Handouts, okay.
Excellent. And what's the VST for this repair?
Due to all the different models and configurations that we have out there, the VST time can range, depending on variants, can range from 17 to 18 hours.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Sean. Got another one for you. How was this seal conditioner decided upon?
I guess I'll take that one. So I'll try and keep my answer short. So we looked at a lot of different things over the past year to try and help with this problem. And if you understand how the problem starts, so essentially what happens is the oil, highly acidic oil, once it gets into that seal, it starts to deteriorate the seal almost immediately, and then it puts it on a slow trajectory to ultimate failure. So we looked at several things like oil additives, other, preconditioning of the seal, like as far as like baking and things like that before we'd even install it on the engine. But what we found is the seal conditioner does the best job of, again, getting into those pores, and it puts it on. And once it's in there, even after you remove the seal conditioner, it will continue to perform very well. So it basically sets the seal up for very good performance. We've tested it in engines, on rig tests, bench tests, in chassis, and it just continues to perform well. I mean, I was the biggest skeptic when we first were looking at it, but I can't complain, or I can't dispute the results that we're seeing.
Excellent. Great answer. I got another one out of Mobile, Alabama I'll throw up for you guys here. What do we use when we are just resealing the turbo compound? Here in Mobile, Alabama, we have come across where just the turbo is leaking at the lower inside corner towards the engine block.
So in that instance, it's a timing gear plate leak. The integrated seal is in the plate, and the TC unit seals against that integrated plate. So in that instance, you would have to put a plate on it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Are pictures also needed if the timing gear plate reseal instead of a replacement? If it's a reseal instead of a replacement?
Good question. We are requiring pictures on all timing gear plate repairs. So if you have a timing gear plate repair, if it has a wet plate or an integrated seal, make sure we put in pictures on all of these claims.
Another one. How do we get the seal conditioner if the kits aren't available? Both kit numbers show to be on back order.
Yep, so I'll take that one, James. So yes, they do show on back order, and that's because they're VOR order only. That's how you get your kits. Also, the seal conditioner, I don't have the part number in front of me, but it is available as an individual part. So if you decide to pull a cylinder head off and you want to put it back on, you can add the seal conditioner to the plate before you put the head back on. So it is available as a spare part.
Thanks, Drew. Are we still using RTV silicone on the gaps for the valve cover and oil pan?
Yes, I'll take that one, James. So anywhere there's a T-joint, you must install silicone. So where the spacer under the valve cover, where it meets the upper timing cover in the head, you put silicone there, RTV. Also where the oil pan hits at a T-joint. So anywhere there's a T-joint, you will install RTV as normal. That's why I'm sorry, James. That's why it's crucial that when you put the seal conditioner on, that you're not putting excessive amount and it eases through the T-joint, because the silicone or RTV can't adhere to the seal conditioner. So that's why we have you stop before you get to the bottom and the top, on the block and the timing gear plate when you're installing it.
So if I replaced a head and find damage to the seal, will I need to replace the timing plate?
Yeah, I'll take that one, James. Yeah, so anytime there's damage, you can't repair it. You will have to replace the timing gear plate. If it's a warrantable repair, though, of course, you have to take good pictures and attach to the warranty case so that you get it approved and get paid.
With the new TC plate, what were the only two things you need to remove from the hot side?
So currently, the only thing that you actually have to take off is the EGR hot pipe in the starter. There is a bracket that supports the EGR hot pipe on turbo compound. That as well, that will have to come off. And there is actually one oil line that goes from the turbo compound down to the oil filter housing. Them instructions have been noted very good in Impact. Refer to the service instructions to help with anything on that hot side.
Thank you, Sean. Are we supposed to be using the conditioner on a new plate?
I'll take that one, James. Absolutely. As Bill just stated with this seal conditioner, as soon as you get it on the plate, it helps immediately. So it's crucial that you put it on a brand new plate every time. That's why we include it in the kit. So make sure you install it. Also, I'll put one more point to that too. When I was talking about installing the seal conditioner, make sure that you clean any excess out of any bolt holes. If you pack a bunch of seal conditioner in the bolt holes and you go to torque the hardware, you can hydrolock the bolt and go under torque on the hardware. So make sure the holes are clean. Any excess that oozes out between the plate and the block, make sure you're cleaning all that.
I got one more for you. Rad, I think this is going to be directed at you, sir. Are broken bolts covered in warranty repairs?
Broken bolts are covered. We do have a labor code out there for extraction of bolts. So I believe that the SRT is around half an hour per bolt. So if you have one of those broken bolts and you're doing a timing gear plate repair, you have two of them that broke off, make sure that you are charging that on a warranty claim. You are covered. And one thing I forgot to mention, and I'm not sure if anyone asked the question or not, all of these guidelines that I mentioned, with the exception of the pictures, they're going to be in place starting tomorrow. So repair orders open tomorrow, and anything after that, make sure that we're following these guidelines. And the template on the manual has been updated to reflect that information.
Thanks, Rad. On behalf of the Academy, we thank you for joining us in this broadcast today, and we look forward to doing this again real soon. Also, remember, these broadcasts are recorded and available through Truck Dealer Portal. Any questions that we didn't get a chance to answer today, we will get in touch with you directly. Again, thank you for joining us and have a fantastic day. Cut.